Hello and welcome to my video on how to make a round jute rug. First off, you're gonna need to set your machine to the widest zigzag setting and the longest zigzag setting so that it's nice and wide and won't be too tight and end up pulling on your rug. For this I use normal thread. Upholstery thread tends to be too thick. You also need braided jute, which is 100 meters and makes 100 centimeters to 110 centimeter rug. Okay, so to begin, you need to make a little circle using the rope, wrapping it around itself. Watch me try to do that and totally fail the first time. You need to make it very tight, so you just have to hold it really tightly and keep wrapping. There you go. So keep going. It's not that difficult, but you just have to make sure it's quite tight when you're wrapping it around like that. Then you use pins to secure it, and then we start sewing. I totally forgot to turn on the machine light there, but what I'm doing is I'm gonna sew across the little circle and keep going over it up and down using the zigzag stitch until I can see that it's well sewn and it's secure. I keep sewing until I can see that my zigzag is secure. Once that's done, I start sewing round and round, joining the rope now to the little circle to now start making a big circle, which is the rug. So at first I slowly sew round and round because it's very tricky at this point. You have to just make sure that the rope is joining and that you're not skipping places. And if you do happen to skip, you can reverse back like I did there, and you keep sewing slowly, but it will definitely make sure that the center is more secure than if you miss the stitches. So it's okay to do it slowly at first, and you can pick up speed once you get the hang of it. Here's a bit of a close-up on how the zigzag is joining the two sides. Now you'll see that I have a flat table right next to the machine. I had to do my own little setup there because my machine doesn't have its own table, so it's sitting on a chair which has another thing sitting on top of the chair, and that's where the machine's sitting. Anyway, that table on the left, the white table, helps to keep this rug as flat as possible. If you do this without the flat surface on your left, it will not come out flat. And even with the flat surface, you will see that in the end you still need to use hot steam to try and flatten any like ridges that would have been formed. But doing it without a flat surface will definitely become a disaster. So you want to make sure when you're making this, you have a flat surface on which your rug can lie while it's being sewn. Now at some point during this process, when you take out your bobbin to refill it, you must clean out any fluff that has collected under the plates and inside the bobbin area, because that stuff will clog your machine and it will start giving you problems. I have been through it, so every time I take out my bobbin to refill it, I always take out any fluff that's in there. Unfortunately, the camera wasn't close enough to actually see any fluff that came out of it. But yeah, look out for it. So the process of sewing continues. You just have to always make sure that your needle is aiming at the right places and that you're not skipping spaces, and if you do skip, you need to reverse your sewing and just go over the space again, just to make sure that there's no holes left behind. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else I left out that you would have wanted to know in this video. Now to finish it off, I measure to see if I've reached the size that I wanted, and in this case 50 centimeters, and then I go and finish off at the end. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna fold the end of the rope and then sew over it. You'll see it. It's not easy for me to explain, but you'll see it. I fold, then I sew over the folding. You have to keep sewing over it up and down until you are so sure that it's secure and it's not going to come off. You will know it when you see it, when you've sewn enough that the end is also quite smooth and you don't see the ends of the rope. Then you know it's really done. Now that that's done, cut off the cotton and it's finished. The next step is to use the steam to flatten it. Ironing begins. You really have to make sure that you are ironing with the steam. You always have to be pressing on that steam button and making sure the steam is coming out, because if you look closely it has some humps and bumps, and the only thing that's gonna make that go away is the steam. We've done everything we can. We've used the wide stitch, we've used the flat surface, but you still will end up with a little bit of humps here and there, and you need to iron it. And this is a 100 centimeter rug, that's why you measure 50 centimeters from the center. But if you make it bigger, like 150 centimeters, that means more humps and bumps. So I'll make another video to show you how you get past those humps and bumps before they get too big that you can't even iron it out. So the ironing part is very important at the end to finish off your product. And here's our finished product. I hope you like it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for taking time out to watch this.